Cleaning Nation, this episode is taken from some coaching calls that Mike did with our clients that we thought would bring tons of value to you. We hope you enjoy. And now on to the show.
All right, question. How do I train these new clients to switch away from invoice after every week of cleaning with net 30? Several have bookkeeping on staff, but the cleaning jobs are too small to be bothered billing. Yeah, just if they can't do it, just do credit card. So two things, credit card on file. So two things. First, it is so much easier to just tell people how you bill at the beginning. It's harder, a lot harder, not that it's undoable at all, but a lot easier to just set the stage at the beginning. This is how we do it. And most times people are like, okay. But if you have a deal and then you try and change it, it's super possible, but it's just harder. So if you're just starting, I would just go, oh, we don't do, I get it. It's a pain in the ass every week to be doing in that 30. And I would just say, we just take credit card on file. We run it. First of all, I don't coach anyone do any move out or move in or any of that crap for this exact reason. But if you are doing that, I would just bill it the day that you're doing it. When you're doing the same service for the same money every month, you can just bill it at the beginning of the month and that's it. So the way I would do it is, as opposed to being offensive, I would be like, you guys shouldn't do this and this isn't right and you're scamming me. They're just going to fight you and argue and go, well, you don't understand. We're a big, scary company. You're a little crappy company. So you have to do what we want. I'm just going to play into that anyway. James, I'm just a little company, man. I know my couple $1,000 a month or whatever is nothing to you. It's a big deal to me. I have payroll. I'm too little, frankly, to afford to be able to give net 30 terms. So I'd love to help you, but I just can't extend you guys credit. I'm sure you're good for it, but I don't have the cash flow for it. I want to focus on giving you the best price and the best service. And I'm too worried about paying my own bills. I can't do a good job. So for us to be able to help you, we're going to have to get paid in advance. And if you don't have a person, we'll just have credit card on file. They know as well as you do, if you screw them or don't do it, they can just dispute the credit card charge and they'll give them their money back. So don't go in as offensive, going as I'm just little. So, cause they're going to go to the we're big and you're little. So you might as well just start there and admit it. Yeah, I'm a little guy. I can whatever. And for me, if they're like, I don't care if you're little and if this makes you broke, if I can save a nickel on interest, I don't care if you live or die. That is not a client I want to work with. Right. If you give the client that and I'm like, screw you, I don't care. I'm out. Like, you don't have to be that direct. I would be. So I literally wouldn't take the job. Cause guys, gals, if you really push it on the residential side is 100%, you should have no problems. On the commercial side, 20% might flat out, 80% will tell you, oh no, we pay net 30. But if you push it and go, this is all we do it, and I'm little and I'm small and I'm just asking for a favor, and maybe you give them something extra or nice, or you give them a little discount or something to let them win, 80% will actually say yes. You just have to hold firm. I would much rather grow 20% slower, right? And I think more than 80%, but I'm being very conservative. 20%, you just lose that work. I'd rather go 20% slower and have all of my money up front than go 20% faster. Because again, one decent sized client BKs, bankrupts on you, or just throws you out, or doesn't pay, or slow pays, or whatever. That's like all your profit for months. It'll kill you. So I would literally not take a person if they didn't pay in advance. But big thing is own it. I'm little, I'm small. I need a favor. Try and do something nice. And if they're like, don't care, or they can't pay, sometimes they don't really have the money and they won't tell you that, but it's a red flag either way. Does that help?
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah. And I was just looking for ways to word it. So that's a good way of how to approach it. Cause she was introducing me to a lot of the bookkeeper and the owners or the managers on site and stuff. But that's how she does it. And not even monthly, like this every week I don't want to invoice them 4 or 5 times a month, and it was just like, and she was kind of mentioning like, I mean, it's nice that she's handing me 7 units.
Hold on. Is this move in, move out clean?
No. Well, I'm stuck at one right now, but no, these are offices. So this is office janitorial in the evenings. Okay, cool. So they're small clients. They're all about maybe $600 to $1,000 a month each. So they're not like perfect, but hey, they're handed to me.
That's fine. They're totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah. So that's how I do it. I would just say, I'm little. I can't extend you credit. I don't even know how to run your Dun & Bradstreet, and I don't have any leverage. If you guys just don't pay, I'm screwed. I've got to pay my payroll today. I'm a little guy. And then if I can't bill you for a week and then that 30 after that, and then maybe it takes another couple of weeks, I'm just little and I can't help. And I would just be like, to their benefit, like, do you want me focused on kicking butt and taking care of you? Or do you want me focused on juggling money so I can pay my people, and just be like, that's not what I do. We're not a bank, and I'm not smart enough to be a bank owner. I'm a cleaning company owner. So like I'm very humble and very self-deprecating.
Yeah, no, I think that'll work well. And I can already tell going through it that we're doing a better job, because as we're transitioning, she just had me come in and do the cleans and just paid me. And so she made a little bit off of it, but she was really open. Like, this is what I'm billing them right here. And then we'll just start handing them over. And so I already know that they're already going to like coming around this next week and meeting them. I just know. I was like, this is what you cleaned? Yeah. So I'm excited. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the wording. So that's what I needed.
Yeah. That should make you, and it doesn't feel confrontational, or it's a very low skill level. You should feel pretty comfortable doing it. So good job.
Okay.
Man.
Cool.
Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information, I just wish I could actually get it implemented, and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge, and we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
Question. Setting aside money for emergencies, tax equipments, breakdowns. I never seem to have enough reserve. You shouldn't need a lot of reserve in this business. So I'd like to talk more about that than the how you. So is there a percentage of your men holding back every week for such inevitables? Yeah. So I'm going to give you a short answer, and I'd love to hear what's happening, because that's to me indicative of a larger problem, not a problem itself. For a cleaning company, I would only have about half my month's revenue in cash. The rest I'd have invested in less liquid, more higher return. So if I was doing 50 grand a month, 25, 30 grand in the bank would be fine for me. But what kind of, I can give you better coaching with more specifics.
Well, I mean, that's been my problem. As I've scaled, I still seem to be, and I know I'm working on some of the expense stuff with John, so we'll have more accuracy maybe on answering this question in a week or so. But it just seems like I'm always barely able to make it sometimes, even though the company has continued to scale. So I'm trying to figure out where.
There's typically three reasons. I think if I lay them out, you'll probably see either yourself or your company in one, or maybe sometimes it could be two. One is you're not getting paid in advance. So the faster you scale, when you have getting paid in arrears, net 30, stuff like that, the more of a cash suck it becomes, because new work will make you cash profit in the future, but it is a cash loss presently. So that's why we get paid in advance, because you'll get your head handed to you unless you have access to credit or a cash reserve if you're growing fast with getting paid in the negative. So that's the first one. Second one is simple as my cost of goods sold are over 45%. My expenses are over 25%. I'm just not as profitable as I should be. You're working on that with Patrick. And the third one is I'm getting paid in advance. I'm getting 30% profit, but I only have a $20,000 company, which generates $6,000 in profit, but I have $10,000 a month of expenses I'm trying to pay with that $6,000. So I'm always short. It's typically one of those three things, or a combination of those three.
Okay. I'll just have to sit down and think about that a little bit more. But yeah, I didn't know if you had a rule of thumb, if there was a module or something that said.
Yeah, I'm telling you, half of your monthly revenue. But again, this doesn't sound like a cash flow. Half of your monthly revenue is it. But if you're going through cash, you're going through cash. I don't think it's a reserves problem. I think it's a business model problem. And I think it's probably one of those three: not getting paid in advance, or getting paid too far backwards, not having a 30% net profit, or having cash needs that exceed the 30% profit of the business. And they each have a different solution. So they're all pretty straightforward. If you're not getting paid in advance, take customers that pay in advance or have a big credit line. If you're making less than 30%, either raise prices so your cost of goods sold go down, or lower expenses. And we can help you with both of those, of course. And if you're like 30% of the profit isn't enough to give you your bills, you have to grow your top line fast or decrease your bills. So those are kind of the solutions to each.
Probably a bit of 2 and 3. And the 2 is what I'm working on right now after the profitability sheet for the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to make phone calls on several accounts to raise prices over the next week or so, hopefully before July 4th or right after July 4th.
2 is the easier one to solve. 3 isn't harder, just takes longer. It's, adding revenue just takes a minute. Like, it's not a short-term solution.
It'd be short-term if I get this contract.
Let me rephrase. It's rarely a short-term solution, but that doesn't mean amazing things can't happen. And you are welcome to Slack me your P&L, or we can talk as specifically as you want, online or offline, whatever you're comfortable with. But if it's 2 and 3, 2, get with John or Gracel, whoever your accountant is, and let me know when your financials are done. I'll definitely look at those and help you. You'll probably already know what to do, but if you need help, I'll help you with that. And then if it's 3, we kind of need to simultaneously build. 2 and 3 together are a little tough because, God dang it, we got to raise profit, which sometimes slows growth, and we got to expedite growth. And again, in a 3 to 5 month thing, no problem. In a 1 to 2 month thing, it's hard to do that quick unless, a big account drops in your lap, and that can help. But even then, if it's a big account that pays net 30, that's actually going to make it worse cash flow wise. So if you have access to credit, so be it. But it can make it a little spicy for the next couple months.
Yeah, that is a concern. If they say yes, I'm sure it'll be net 30 that I can talk them into, or less. But I'll have to go through at least 1 or 2 payrolls without the cash in hand.
When I submit the bid, I just submit it as, here's the amount, credit card on file. We run it the first of every month, period. And if they want to fight me otherwise, they can talk about it. But that's just how I submit it.
For commercial?
Hell yeah, commercial.
Well? I thought you focused mostly on residential in regards to that. I misunderstood that.
No, what I say is 100% of the residential would be that way. What I had said earlier, I think you were driving, 80% of commercial, you will lose some accounts on commercial, but I will lose those goddamn accounts. I would literally, because again, my best example of this is I had a several $1 million construction company. And I think as we were growing, when I sold it, my receivables were about $1 million. And if I still own that, and the receivables would probably be 2 or 3 million, I'd still have never had access to that cash, or ever. If I died with those receivables, I would have literally done all, never gotten paid. I literally had to sell the business to get those contracts or get those wages. So yeah, I would literally rather be an $800,000 company getting paid, credit card on file, paid in advance, than $1 million company doing net 30 nonsense. I take it that seriously.
Okay. And
I found 80% of the people, when you say we want paid in advance, we're not going to do that, blah, 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 blah. 20% was like, okay. The 80% that say they won't do it, if you go, well, then I guess this is where we part friends, 80% of them will comply. So you won't lose. They're going to make it sound like you'll never get another client again. Not the truth.
Okay.
And yeah, they all want it, but they all want a lot of stuff. And like, again, I don't know if you heard the conversation I was having with James. I take the submissive role. Hey, Patrick, I get it. You're a huge hospital. I'm sure you've got millions and millions of dollars of payables and receivables, and you've got a very smart CFO who arbitrages that money. And I'm sure you guys, and that's great. I get all of that, and you should. But I'm a little tiny guy, and I'm personally, I've got a small enough company where I'm kind of standing behind this payroll. So when I get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 in payroll, I make that payroll whether they all pay me or not. And if anything goes wrong, I just go bankrupt. So I don't have the interest or even ability. I don't have any of your, and again, they're a hospital, but like, I don't have your done. I'd be like, Enron went bankrupt. They were a multi-billion-dollar company. If they can go bankrupt, no offense, y'all can go bankrupt. Hospitals go out of business all the time. And I know you're probably not too. And I know that you guys are good people. And to all of you, you just go get another job. But I'm bankrupt because I still have to make this $50,000 payroll that I paid to clean the building. I just can't afford it. I'm just a little guy. So I'll do everything I can to make sure you're happy. But if I'm too worried about collecting money, I need to be focused on, this is a big job. I need to be focused on making sure you guys get the result that you want. And if you're not paying and I'm worried about that, it's not good for you and it's not good for me. So there's only 2 reasons they would say no. They can't pay, which thank God you know now before you find out later, or they can pay and they hold you in that low regard. That they're like, yeah, I understand what I really don't care if you live or die. If it saves me a nickel, that's what we'd like to do. And either one of those are a disqualifier. I can't pay, or I have so little regard for you as a partner that I don't care how much this hurts you. I'm out on both.
Yeah. My largest contract, we submit the ticket on a Monday and we're usually paid on a Thursday at the beginning of the month.
So the funky thing with that is, And the reason I'm so uptight about this is because I've been doing this a decade, and 100% of people pay until they don't. So every story starts to say, oh yeah, these guys have always paid. And then 6 months later, they didn't pay. So yeah, everybody always pays until they don't. So, but the problem is the benefit of getting paid the 27 and a half times they get paid does not outweigh the one time they don't pay. It's like Russian roulette. It's like, oh, there's only one live goal, only one live round. I'm like, I still don't want to play the game. I'm like, oh no, like 11 rounds are empty. It's fine. I'm like, yeah, but I still don't want to play, because that one job, if they BK you on 30, 60, 90 days of stuff, the whole job, everything you did, it puts the whole business at risk. And it's like, for what? So I'm out. And because again, there's only two reasons they wouldn't pay, because, and again, I get it. If this is a multi-million-dollar deal and you've got a bunch of access to capital, like, because you're a large company, you can borrow at prime. You've got larger, big company access to capital, which they do. So literally they're like, oh, we've probably got hundreds of millions of dollars of access to capital. You're you and probably have less than $1 million. We'd like you to loan us 50 or 100 grand every month. Can I get some collateral? No collateral. Can I get any sort of legal thing where if you don't pay, I can come out? Oh no, none of that. Can I get interest? No interest. What the F? Can I at least get a credit report done in Bradstreet on you? I don't know. If you want to run one, do what you want to do. Like, it's an insane proposition. It's like Elon Musk coming to me to borrow 100 grand. Like, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So again, there's no moral impetus for it. The reason I freak out is I've been doing this a decade, and I've heard story after story after story of most of them come to me at the back end. Mike, I should have listened. You're right. And it's awful. And it makes me sick. They're like, what can I do? I'm like, nothing, dude. Your only leverage is to stop cleaning. And when you started, that was a lot of leverage. Now that they owe you 60 grand, it's almost no leverage. Stop cleaning. Okay, we'll hire someone else, and then we'll use that as an excuse not to pay you. So then let me tell you how that plays out. So I can show you around the corner. You're like, oh, I don't want to go around that corner. Or maybe you do, but at least I told you. And that's my job as a coach. Because they owe you so much money, you can't stop cleaning. Now you're like, do I throw good money after bad? So you have to negotiate. Well, I'll clean. If you give me 10 grand, then I'll clean for the, and you do that until you whittle it down until it's almost like you're going to exit this relationship, and you know it, but you don't want them to know it, because as soon as they know, now you're not going to get anything. So you try and get to the minimum part. You're like, all right, now I'm going to pull the plug. And that can be a 6-month thing to beg. And it's a constant negotiation, wheedling of, I'm going to cut you. And the only thing you have is I'm going to stop threatening to stop cleaning and stopping cleaning. That's it. So when they owe you, but the more they owe you, the less threat you have. The less they owe you, the more valuable it is. So you get them down to 10 grand. You're like, fine, I can at least walk from this 10 grand. Now I can do it. But I've just seen that process go, and it's awful. It's just awful. And they'll lie. Oh, it's Patty. She's in payroll. She's on vacation. She'll be back. Don't worry. They don't tell you they're scamming you. They go, oh, we're a big company. It's all normal. Everything's fine. And then you're 60, 90 days out. And then all of a sudden you get a bankruptcy thing. You're like, God dang it. And then you're dealing with the bankruptcy deal, and you're going to get 6 cents on the dollar 5 years from now, if anything. And it's just like, God bless America. So again, is it likely? No, it's wildly unlikely. Are you willing to push all your chips on the company and on the bet that it's not? I'm not. So that's why I get so uptight. Is I've been burned some, but not terribly. I've just seen clients get burned pretty bad. So I jump up and down. My job is to let you know there's danger that way. And I'll still love you and support you and want you to win if you take the danger. I want to sleep at night going, I did everything I could to tell him what he was walking into. And if you're like, I understand the risk, I'm willing to take it, I'm like, I did my job.
Okay. I'll finish that contract. I'll let you know how it goes.
I'm here for you either way, buddy. And again, very unlikely they're not going to pay. I'm not saying that's the case. It's much more than a 0% possibility. That's all.
Yeah.
Cool. We got you, brother.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge, and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it, and we sure appreciate your time and attention.